This right here, my brother, that's a good peanut butter and jelly sandwich. See, y'all don't know nothing about peanut butter and jelly sandwich. My girl just made me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. If you don't know, it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a side of sweet tea, because I'm so sweet. Girl, I want to give you a treat, because you look so sweet, like a big old piece of chocolate meat. Y'all don't know nothing about this here. Let me calm that down. Welcome back once again with another episode. Lord have mercy. I've been a busy lad, haven't I? Got work. Got to come home. Do a podcast. That's not work, but it's work because I got to schedule people in. Got to get my friends involved. Family members. It's fun, though. This is what I want to do. I promise you that. I love talking. I love speaking. I got to talk. I got to say what's on my mind now, children. Anyway, we got a special guest coming on the show today, later for y'all. His name is AireLoosh. He is the one and only best DJ coming out of Highland Park High School that I had the pleasure of being good friends with. He is a mixer. If you want to get in touch with him, I'll be sure to put his information down below on YouTube and on Facebook, and I'll even put it on Snapchat. If you haven't followed me yet, it's going to be capital N, no, capital B, and an L. Let me break this down for you. It's going to be a capital N, the word no, then capital B, L, lines. It's all one word, no space, no hyphen, no nothing. It's no B lines. So literally, capital N, the word no, capital B, L, lines. That's it. Let's not make it any harder than what it is. Because I feel like some people trying to put hyphens in it. I know my friend was trying to find my podcast. She put a hyphen in it, and I'm like, you're never going to find it. And I'm also about to put my work on Spotify. If you guys use Spotify, I've never used it for anything. I know my friends use it for music mainly, but I didn't even know you could put podcasts on Spotify. And my friend said, oh, you should go on Spotify. So I'm like, bet it up. Sure, I'm not a gambler, but I'll gamble on my job because I'm the owner, the CEO, the president, and I run my life. Remember, nobody runs your life except you. You have the final word, final decision on everything you'll ever do. Without further prolonging the show, I'm going to go ahead and bring on my friend AireLoosh. He is a well-known DJ across the Chicago land. He also went to the University of Arizona. I'm sure you know him. He's mixed a couple times while he was out there. Y'all should know him and love him. If you haven't gotten the chance, go ahead and check out his SoundCloud. Go ahead and tell everybody your SoundCloud name.
My SoundCloud name is AireLoosh, AireLoosh. And I just want to say thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I'm super stoked to be here.
Oh, you already know I had to put some friends on here. You've been my friend since 2012. Oh yeah, I gotta let the people know. I give everybody an opportunity, fair and well. You know how it goes. Joe. Now what we gonna do here? We gonna jump around, cause you already know the main topic is gonna be name the top 5 artists.
Okay.
Rap game. But we're going to start with you first, because we got to get down to personal before we get loosey-goosey on my show.
So we're talking just hip-hop artists in general?
Hip-hop artists in general, from the 70s all the way to now.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'm going to go start off with my man, A$AP Rocky, right off the bat.
Okay.
Super passionate about, I guess the swag and, obviously his flow. He's an unbelievable lyricist, and people, I guess, back in the day would kind of, undermine him and just assume he's just one of those mumble rappers. But as time progressed, he's really proven himself, especially with this latest album, Testing, that came out. I think it was last year or something. But definitely start off my man A$AP Rocky. Let's see who else. Mac Miller, definitely a legend. Super unfortunate that he passed away, but obviously I just kind of grew up on his music. He was one of the first hip-hop artists I listened to, and seeing him evolve into just someone that nobody really expected to see him evolve into is just unbelievable, and he's super versatile.
I feel like everybody puts all the white ones together, all of them. Apparently we having some technical wait a minute. Shalom.
I'm so sorry about that, man. I sincerely apologize. I accidentally took another phone call when I meant to deny the phone call. Are we still rolling, or we got to restart?
Oh, this is real life. We still rolling.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Whoever's out there listening. Anyways, to continue my my top 5 favorite rappers, obviously A$AP Rocky, Mac Miller. Who else are we feeling? I really like Kendrick. Obviously, one of the best lyricists in the game, no question.
Oh yes.
I just think The Pimp a Butterfly is, oh my god, an unbelievable album.
You know, that was actually ranked the #1 of the decade. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, I'm like, whoo, that's
honestly
something.
Doesn't shock me at all. And obviously, I'm gonna ride with him. I obviously lived out on the West Coast for a minute, and him being from Compton is, I don't know. Every time I listen to Kendrick when I'm out on the West Coast, you kind of feel this type of connection when you're out there. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, he makes you feel like you're at home all the time.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's from a different neighborhood, but it's about, I guess, the instrumental. Whoever's producing his beats, like, definitely knows what to capture for a Kendrick Lamar type of vibe. That makes sense. Also, got to go with my man Eminem, Marshall Mathers. Definitely, I would say he's my favorite. Honestly, I put A$AP top of my list to begin with. A$AP's my favorite current rapper, I'd say, but in regards to all time, like, Eminem, obviously, just got to put him on my list. And lastly, I really like Tyler the Creator too, man. I'm super into that skater vibe that he gives off, and similarly to Mac Miller, like, Tyler just went from, some goofy rapper that just likes to fuck around to someone who's blossomed into, like, just a versatile artist that wants to just change genres up. He's done hip-hop, he's done jazz, he's done blues, he's done soul, he's done literally everything. So I got to give it to Tyler as well.
Yeah, some of these don't get the credit they deserve. I know A$AP, he just came out with a new docu-series on Netflix. A lot of people need to check that one out about his life.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Oh, man, I don't even know. It came out like, what, 3 months ago, I want to say? It came out like 3 months ago.
I got to check that out.
Yeah, I'll try to find it, but shoot, I forgot what it was, but it looked great. I still need to check it out.
I saw A$AP had a documentary with Complex. It was a few years back. I think it was Complex. I don't remember, but it was just about him and, like, the A$AP Mob's uprising. It was just, oh man, it was incredible.
Oh man, that guy is underrated. A lot of people don't know about A$AP Rocky. They just like, oh, he's just another guy trying to rap. Yeah, he made his money. We'll just put him over here with everybody else, put him with the Lil Uzi Verts, that 2016 class. Go ahead and put him over there. I'm like, this man.
That's kind of how it was off the bat, I feel like. But like I said before, like, he's just changed so much. And, like, there's an article that I read, like, a week ago, and he just came out to just explain the fact that, like, the song, like, Fucking Problems, for example, with Skrillex, like, that song was just made to pop off at the club, you know what I mean? Like, he even owned up to it, and he said, look, I was just doing that to kind of attract a mainstream audience, and now that I have that, mainstream kind of reputation, like, I want to kind of branch off and do my own thing, which is why he made the album Testing. And I just think that's a genius marketing move, honestly.
Oh, you got to appeal to the mainstream all the time, or you're not going to get that. Well, first, you're not going to get the money you would expect if you don't go mainstream. That's why your manager always push for that one. You got to make one for the radio. I don't care what else you do. You got to make one song for the radio that we can play over and over again. That's how you get that continuous money.
I completely agree. And, I mean, obviously it's a controversial topic, but I do agree in the long run, like, if you're trying to remain relevant, obviously you got to release, like, 1 or 2 songs that, everybody could recognize and everybody can relate to. Otherwise, like, if you want to stay, like, under the radar, you want to do your own thing, be your own vibe, like, I respect that more than anything. But it really depends on the individual, especially with, like, the genre of music nowadays, because it's all over the map, you know what I mean?
Oh, you get everything now.
So, yeah, I think it's obviously up for up for debate, but I'm gonna have to agree with you there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I know that if I had to list mine, I would have to go at the tippy top on my list, no
Okay.
matter what. He's been my number one since probably 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to go with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg's my guy.
Okay.
He is
Snoop
my
Dogg,
guy.
Dog, bro. You gotta rock with Snoop, man.
He has done everything and has tried everything, and he's relatable
Every
as hell.
genre of music you can even imagine. He's even an actor. He has his own podcast, like you now. Like
I'm like, he is so chill with everything. It's like, damn, how can you not like this guy?
yeah, no, I completely agree, 100%.
Oh my God. Number 2, always got to give it up. Got to give credit where credit's due. That's going to be Eminem. I don't care what people think. I do not care. Eminem, have you heard those lyrics? Man, as soon as I heard LP, I was like, I'm sold. I'm sold. I don't need to hear one other album. Just that one, sold.
I like how you're obviously kind of shooting for the old school rappers rather than just like, I know a lot of people that just right off the bat will put like Travis on a pedestal or like Migos, and I'm like, yeah, like it's they know how to make songs for the clubs, etc., but it really depends. You know what I mean? You have to give respect to the old school too. You know what I mean?
And I also feel that most rappers don't have a sense to rap. Like, I know some of them make their own beats, and I'm like, your beat is way better than you rapping on top of it. Why didn't you just sell the beat? Like, you didn't even have to write out. Like, come on now. You just selling yourself short. Like, if you would have made the beat, you would have been a great producer. Hell, know your limits. You are a terrible 100%. Rapper. You can make beats, that still sells.
So I have a question for you. Are you into the new school genre of rap at all, would you say?
Oh, I keep it limited. And that's going to be my number 5 person. I'll let you know in a couple seconds. I know number 3, I'm going to take you way back, though. I don't know if you'll know this, man. I'm about to take you way back. It's going to be Big Daddy Kane.
Of course. I don't know. Okay, so I know who he is, and I'm sure I've heard a few songs by him, but I haven't taken, I don't recognize, like, songs by heart, if that makes sense. But I genuinely have respect for that, for sure.
Oh, yeah, that man, it was something, the way he would put his words together. I'm like, I feel Snoop took some of that, his laid-back, low, monotone voice, and threw it on his track and just made it new school in the 90s, taking his 80s and just throwing it in there like, oh, yeah, that's where it's at. Because he just took, because back then they didn't, they weren't as flamboyant as they were in the 90s. And then the 2000s, they really, Busta Rhymes just blew it wide open after that. Yeah. So
no, you're right.
During that, I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to give Big Daddy Kane his credit because inspiration for Snoop Dogg, I would give it to you. I'm going to give it to you.
Right.
And then
100%, man.
I know my number 4, matter of fact, she's not even going to be my number 5. She's going to be number 4, honestly. Young Ma.
Okay.
Young Ma from New York. Young Ma. She's underrated. People don't know about. I'm like, bro, if you haven't heard of Young Ma,
very underrated, man.
You need to listen to Young Ma.
She was on Eminem's new album too.
Hell yeah, I'm like, man.
One song.
I'm like, you don't know the way she. If I could recommend one song for everybody to listen to, I know a lot of rappers can't do this. It's a 7-minute song. She takes. There is no chorus. There is no drop. She literally is rapping through the whole thing for 7 minutes. I haven't heard that since Biggie and Tupac.
Dude,
straight, like she's not stopping.
Run into the studio. Big would literally just hop in the studio, roll up a fat blunt, and literally just like off the dome, bro, just straight up, just come up with the craziest lines, man. Like
I'm like,
I have so much respect. That's real rap, in my opinion. Like being able to freestyle, do it off the bat, like I love that.
Exactly. I'm like, if you can't come off the dome, you have no business of rapping. To me, I'm like, you gotta have something. What I feel rappers do, they always have something prepared. It's just what kind of beat's gonna be thrown at them. But they're always thinking in mind of like, okay, at any time I could freestyle, so I'm just thinking of everything, looking around, see what I gotta do. It's like that mindset of being an artist. It's like something's always gonna try to catch your attention. You're gonna be like, oh, if I did this, tweak that, oh yeah, that's gonna work right there. Yeah.
Right. there just definitely has to be, like, they'll go into the studio with, like, a central theme regarding, like, what they want to talk about specifically. And then, like, they'll have an idea, like I said before, but kind of, improv it a little bit. Do it off the bat a little, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be all specific all the time, you know what I mean?
Oh, not at all. And I know I was reading one interview, I think it was from complex.com actually, where they interviewed Snoop Dogg, and he was talking about his first album, The Dog Pound, that went major in in 92, I believe. Yeah, I think it was 92. He said that was the best.
Mid-90s maybe.
Yeah. He said that was the best album he ever made. He was like, that album literally was just fucking around and having the best fun with my friends. And it came out like that.
Was that like right when, was that like kind of midway when you like almost called that case?
Yep, because Murder Was the Case is on there.
Right. Yep. I saw a documentary about that a few weeks ago. It's just super, super. I don't know. I just love like listening about like rap history and just seeing how it's evolved today in regards to like crimes being committed, and how the streets were different back in the day. Like it's just interesting,
Oh yeah, and I know one of the guys at my work. He said he was a photographer back in California before he moved to Arizona, and that the company he worked for actually would do a big named artist. And he said Snoop Dogg came one time, and I asked him did he like Snoop Dogg, because it's like you could at least say hi to the man since you're gonna be taking photos of the man. I'm like, at least say hi. And he was like, he doesn't like Snoop Dogg. I'm like, what? Why? What did he do to you? He was like, well, we were upstairs on like the 8th floor, and we were doing a photo shoot, and one of Snoop's friends said that there was some dudes in the truck, like 8 of them, was coming after him with guns and everything. And I'm like, what the fuck? And
honestly, old school Snoop does that shit like that. Doesn't surprise me, man. He was heavy with the Crips, man. Like,
I'm like, I know your past always gonna catch up to you eventually. It's gonna come. It just hasn't caught him. He's lived past it, so lucky him. But he was saying that 8 dudes had guns and they were coming up to the studio and everything, and that when Snoop heard it, him and his friend left, and he was like, "Nah, Snoop's a bitch and whatever." I'm like, bro, let me do the math real quick. If there are 8 guys in a truck with guns, and there are only 2 of us, and we have no guns, what do you expect? What do you expect me to do? You think I'm gonna fight? No, that is not the time to fight. I'm gonna get my shit and walk the fuck out.
Strapped, for example, like, not that I own a gun or anything, but like in any case scenario, I would still run. I wouldn't even consider retaliating whatsoever.
I'm like, at that point, I'm not gonna fight. I'm 46, 47 years old at that point. I'm not fighting you no more.
Exactly. And he's humbled. Like he's definitely humbled in so many ways. You can just tell by his demeanor nowadays. He's so down to earth. He's very knowledgeable. Just a humble guy overall. I mean, there's this, relating back to that ASAP Rocky documentary that I saw on Complex. It was like this entire segment of Snoop and ASAP just sitting down having a conversation one-on-one, and they were just vibing out, man. They were just talking about life, and it was incredible.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, here's the problem. It's my last person in my top 5, and I'm gonna have to split it.
Right. Yeah, let's hear it.
I just heard somebody else, and I was like, man, I gotta split it now. I'm gonna split it between Ice Cube.
Okay.
And I'm gonna split it with Lil Wayne.
Okay. I have respect for that. I have mad respect for that.
Ice Cube, because of his hardcore rap, bringing that in from NWA and his story. If nobody's seen the NWA movie, y'all really missing out for the past 4 or 5 years, because that movie was raw and rough. That movie.
I only saw that movie once, but yeah, the movie slaps. Like a Mile, like all those rap movies are super good. Although the 2-5 movie was not good. I don't know if you saw that.
Nah, I saw it. I was like, man, they got the guy right. He looks like him, but the story is. Ugh.
No, because it wasn't true to its word. Like it didn't. I feel like the director didn't know the subject matter well enough. Well, he kind of went off based on like I guess what other people people are talking about. I guess like stuff you could find on the internet. And the real question is like everybody knows that Pac is like unbelievably sophisticated. Like he has a crazy mindset, and I wish they explored that a little more.
Oh yeah, it seemed like they only talked about they started at the rape charge and ended at the rape charge. Like that's it.
Exactly.
I'm like, you only gonna talk about what, a year and a half, 2 years of his life? Like nothing else happened before that?
Right. Like I said, I just wish that they explored his mindset and the way he thought. You know, like I wanted to be more related around, I guess, his rap style, if that makes sense. It didn't really explore that the way I wanted it to.
Like, I thought it was going to be just like when Notorious came out. Now, that one was good. They did a nice balance of everything going on, how he met Faith Evans, how his childhood was, how he came in the rap game, how he was a dealer before, how he fucked up. They even threw his baby mama in. Like, that wasn't really necessary, but they threw it in.
Yeah, that movie was good. That movie was I feel like it wasn't really talked about as much, but it was still a great movie. Like, I thought I had a great experience watching it. And obviously, you see Get Rich or Die Trying.
Oh, yeah. Like, come on, that 50 Cent movie? Oh, that was great.
Bro, flapper, bro. I love that shit.
That shit was beautiful. I need to rewatch it. Matter of fact, I haven't seen it in a couple years.
Yeah, man. Definitely throw that on.
Sure. But if I had to say the better person, I would say for making metaphors during a rap is going to be Lil Wayne. He throws metaphors my way. I'm like, I never thought of a word like that to go with that and to just say that. Like, where in the hell did you think, like, early in his career, he wasn't throwing down real lyrics. It was just like he was kind of the backup. Yeah. When he started to go on his own, the Carter, honestly, I didn't like. His first one, I didn't really enjoy. It was like he was.
3,
the Carter 2 and 3. That's where the Carter 2.
I think the Carter 3 might be one of my favorite albums of all time.
Oh yeah, that came out when we were in middle school, like 6th, 7th grade, right there. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. That goes way back.
I remember when Lollipop came out. I was like, what?
I know.
I was like, what? Mrs. Officer?
Think about the new Carter though.
The new Carter, honestly, I like Funeral. It was I was getting a little bit of the old Wayne back a little bit. I was like, okay. I'm like, Dedication 5 is where I was like, yeah. Like,
he's definitely just one of those rappers that, like, he's proven himself. You know what I mean? Like, same with, like, look, I know I've talked about Eminem like a million times already, but Eminem, obviously, one of the best if not, in my opinion, the best rapper of all time. He's proven himself already. You know, all these recent albums, him dissing Machine Gun Kelly, for example, like, I get it. You know, he's trying to go back to the old school M a little bit, a little Slim Shady, kind of that, you know, obviously what everyone knows him for. But for the most part, in my opinion, I think he's just already proven himself, and he could honestly stop rapping if you wanted to, and everybody would just be like, okay, I accept that. You know, you've proven yourself. You know, at this point, he's just having fun. And I think Lil Wayne's doing the same thing.
Exactly, because they're like, well, I'll try to top it, but I've already hit my peak. Like when Wayne dropped, what was it? When he dropped No Ceilings, Dedication 4, and what was it? Which other one did he drop? He dropped another mixtape. I can't remember. It was all during my high school career. Like within a year and a half of each other. I was like, oh my gosh. I know those two were in the same year, and I was like, oh, he's going crazy. He's really trying to drop stuff. And then I know he tried to do, you remember when he tried to do rock and roll, throw that in there?
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing?
Was that one song with Cudi? No. He did like a rock and roll song with Cudi, no? Or am I thinking
no, that was Nicki Minaj. It was Knockout.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That song was not the best, but...
I was like, you're just going through your skateboard, and he's just fine.
I mean, they're just trying to explore a little bit. You know, they're just trying to do something different. I respect for that, regardless if it's shit or not, you know?
Exactly. They're like, some people are going to listen to it regardless. He's like, between me and you, we'll get a few 100 million.
True. There are some die-hard Lil Wayne fans mean, literally, like Roxaron and a few other people that went to our high school. Like, these kids are die-hard Lil Wayne fans.
Oh, yeah, I know Kelshawn was. He was always talking about Lil Wayne. I'm like, man, you listened to the Dedication album like 50 times. Calm down. Like, that's all on your phone. Like, no, don't put it on repeat again. Every time he was like, let me plug up my phone. No, we don't want to. We already know what you're going to put on. We already listened to the album.
Always
we're good.
Gotta slap some Weezy, you know what I mean?
I'm like, geez, at least throw on some old school Weezy. Put on the Fireman or something.
True.
Yeah. But I would say if I had to do the craziest rapper with the best music videos, I'm going Busta Rhymes because he had the best music video. Him or Ludacris. Because they both.
Tech Nine, too. Tech
oh,
9?
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yep. They just got the craziest flow. I don't know. The speed in which they rap is just, like, mind-boggling. I don't know how they do that.
I tried it, and I'm like, that hurts my throat.
Hurts your throat, and you'll literally tongue twist and just fuck up on all your words.
I'm like, how do you take air in and just come out with all that at one time?
I don't know, man. Well, shit. I know Logic does it really well. MGK, obviously Tech Nine. Busta. I think Busta kind of started that trend.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely did. Yeah.
I remember when they all jumped on one track. It was Busta, Tech Nine, and Twista. Forgot what song, but my God,
when was that? Like mid 2000s, right?
Yeah, I was like, this song's going too fast.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just listen to it. I won't try to memorize it. That's on y'all.
True that.
Lord have mercy.
So you're going with so who's your? If you had to pick one, who would be your fifth favorite then? Let's say there are no ties. You're just like, I'm gonna pick one.
Just
right off the top of your head.
It will have to be Lil Wayne. If I just have to pick one, it would just be Lil Wayne. Because I grew up on Wayne more than I did Ice Cube.
Okay. I feel like, I would say I didn't really get into Ice Cube till, like, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. I like him. I have mad respect for him. Obviously, the whole NWA crew. He's just, not my favorite. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But love him, obviously.
Yeah, but we're not doing the top 15. You'll be in the top 15,
True.
But we ain't doing the top 15.
Well, yeah, we can get into this conversation for hours if we do that, though.
Oh, yeah. But you would say, who would be your biggest influencer out of all of them? Your top 5.
Out of all the rappers?
Yep.
Definitely A$AP Rocky, man. That's kind of, although he isn't my top rapper, I would say he's my biggest influence in regards to, like, I guess his fashion sense. I've been passionate about fashion my entire life for the most part. Especially how, I guess, the A$AP mob really, really introduced, I guess, high-end designer type of fashion in the new school generation of rap. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what they're always rapping about. And I feel like they kind of introduced so many new trends into, I guess, the fashion industry and the music industry. And obviously, East Coast, I'm from the Midwest. It's just a similar vibe, you know what I mean? And I just love the way, I love his demeanor. He's unbelievably sophisticated. He spoke at Oxford 2 years ago, and just listening to him elaborate on, ways to just be a better individual rather than just like specifically targeting music is just so inspirational to me. You know what I mean? He's just an awesome guy overall.
Oh yeah, when you can explain it well, I know you're doing the right thing. You got to be able to explain it if you're gonna do it. Give me a good explanation. 100%. I got you. Hey, that's you.
100%. And the cool thing about that Oxford interview is he comes in with like this tailored ass suit, man. Like he's coming in looking sharp. Obviously, no surprise there. It's A$AP Rocky, but he comes in just looking like a businessman. You know what I mean? He's coming in just to say like, I could do both, and I could be a thug. I could be, fucking Abercrombie model if I wanted to. He can do whatever he wants. He's a genius. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he found a great balance in between the two.
Mhm. What about you? Who's your influence out of all those rappers?
If we're going dress style, then I'm gonna throw somebody else out there. That's gonna be Wiz Khalifa.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's
Bro, back
just
in the day,
man.
rocking those snapbacks and cargos, man. I miss those days. What was it, like 2013? I got a
Yeah,
huge Wiz poster in my room right now, actually. I'm looking at it. It's so funny.
sure. I was like, man, Wiz got that style. He's got like that laid back Cali swag. I'm like, man,
Yup,
boy,
yup, yup.
I fucks with that. I'm like, okay, I could do it.
They,
He got me into
him and
Converse.
Mac pulled it off really well. That skater kind of just casual streetwear is great.
Oh yeah, he got me into Converse heavy. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start
Oh,
rocking
bro,
Converse now.
back when I used to see you all the time, all you would do is rock Chuck Taylors, man.
Yeah, I got it
Bro,
from him.
never go wrong with Converse, bro. It's the best.
Oh yeah, I used man. Look, I know people say I ain't got no arch support. I'm like, that's not the point. These came out in the 50s, okay? Didn't nobody need no
Oh,
arch
100%.
support. This is what ballers
100%.
wear. I remember I've probably torn 2 or 3 pair of Converse in my life. I remember my first year doing track, my sophomore year. My high jump shoes were Converse.
No way.
Yep, I still got the Converse.
I remember you were on track, but I didn't know you jumped in Converse, man. I didn't know
Oh
you
yeah.
ran.
Oh yeah,
That's
sophomore
fire.
year, straight Converse. I still got the Converse. I told them bitches up.
Hell yeah. I mean, dude, you can never go wrong. They're just such a casual shoe, you know what I mean?
They lasted me too.
Yeah, and I like Vans a lot too, because, I mean, back in the day, I feel like skate apparel nowadays is more of like, I guess, street fashion. It's more trendy, you know what I mean?
Oh,
You could
yeah.
rock it. You can rock a pair of Vans and people can look at you and just be like, oh, this guy's either, a skateboarder, this guy's just casually rocking a pair of Vans. Like, it doesn't even matter. It's acceptable in any type of atmosphere for the most part.
I feel like I need to get a pair of Vans. I don't own one. I only own Converse.
Really?
Yeah.
Only on Converse. Hey, but bro, you can never go wrong with Converse. You know what I mean?
Like I just want every color. Once I get every color, I'll be like, all right. I'm not a Jordan
All right,
man.
time to
I'm not
switch it
a
up.
like for real. I'm not a Nike man. I don't like those expensive shoes. I'm like, give me some Converse that cost $49.95. I'll be straight. I could get every color or maybe more colors than I will with Jordans. So don't even worry about it.
Absolutely, man. Love that.
Oh yeah. And what would you say? Who supported you through your whole life? You would say, like since you say you since high school. Let's say since high school.
Since high school, I would say, just generally speaking, my parents are definitely my biggest support systems, and they're just always there for me. They want me to do well. They wanted me to do well academically. They wanted me to do financially. They just wanted me to be me, and they always backed up. They always approved of everything that I wanted to pursue in life. And since obviously I've always been passionate about music. And for I think it was my 17th birthday, they bought me a DJ controller for my birthday, and that was probably the most meaningful thing like anybody could have ever done for me. And yeah, they've just always been there for me since day one. And obviously I can go to them for anything, and they can come for me for anything, and it's just the greatest bonding experience for sure.
And did you know at that moment you wanted to become a mixer, producer, DJ?
So it's funny. I've been going to music festivals since around 2012, 2013, and I remember I went to my first festival. It was Spring Awakening. Have you heard of Spring Awakening Music Festival in Chicago?
I'm not even gonna lie. I've never been to a festival in Chicago, and that's a shame.
Damn, man. Never been to Lollapalooza or North Coast or any of those big ones?
Nope, not one music festival.
They're amazing. I think that's what really drew me in. Obviously, I always had, I was always passionate about music since day one, but I guess experiencing it live and just feeling the energy of the room, whether it's a DJ, a hip-hop artist, a rock and roll band, they're carrying the crowd. They're providing service for the people that pay to go, and it's just it's such a blissful and intimate experience. And I think that's what really motivated me. Yeah, I think just seeing the way the DJ interacts with the crowd, the way the energy kind of sparks up the entire atmosphere of the festival grounds. Like it's such a humbling experience. And yeah, like I said, after going to Spring Awakening, I came home, and I think it was like 2 or 3 months later, I ran into my friend in the hallways, and he said, "Hey man, I know you're like really into music festivals and stuff. I'm opening this thing at our high school called DJ Club. Did you hear about DJ Club at our high school by chance?"
I started DJ Club.
What? No, you didn't.
Yes, I did, because they probably approached you when, like late 2013, early 2014, my senior year.
I joined my junior or senior year.
All right, then I was already a senior, yeah.
Damn.
I started it. Yeah.
No way. Why did I not know this? Did I ever see? We didn't see each other in DJ Club, did we?
No, not to my knowledge. It's funny because we both hung out with John, but we never talked about it.
Yeah. What? Dude, this is all news to me, man. That's so funny.
I swear, it started with 2 turntables and Mr. I forgot his name, but he became.
Everybody talks about it.
But yeah, it started with his.
Teacher.
Yeah, he was a great guy. He became a dean of the school, and then he left.
Yep.
But I started with his old turntables that he brought from home and his records. So I was literally.
Or are they like CDJs?
No, these were like when I mean like old school, I'm doing getting the records, putting them on, finding the break. Oh yeah, I'm doing vinyls all day.
Oh,
like that's what.
Crazy.
Ironically, that's what I'm good at. I cannot get the computer system. Like, I can't do the computer stuff that you do. I cannot do it. I've tried. I was like, I don't like it. I like something in my hand that I can feel, you know? I like catching it like that.
Right. So you're into scratching and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, that's what I love to do. It's a lot harder.
So my field is more related to electronic dance music. That's kind of, I guess, the art form DJing that I specialize in. So I'm kind of portraying more of, or I'm trying to give off more of like a vibe rather than like, you know, obviously technicality is important, but I guess scratching and using CDJs, for example, which you can also scratch on, like it's a completely different experience. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So with scratching, obviously you're going for the technicality of scratching. You know what I mean? Like you're just like, you're trying to be the best DJ you can. Whereas when you're actually DJing, like when you're using CDJs, it's just you're trying to illustrate this type of vibe, trying to create this room of energy. You know what I mean? It's just different, you know. But either or, it's an amazing art form, you know.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know I was good at it. That's the killing part. He was just teaching everybody, and I was looking. I'm like, I wonder if I could. And I remember that sometimes I would be late or not go to class a couple of times because it would be like, I would get like study hall or something. So I would leave and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go see my teacher to help me out with this homework. But that wasn't the case.
You just go and scratch?
Oh yeah, because he kept the turntables in the band room where they kept all the equipment. So I would go in there. He would unlock the door, and I would go in there, and I would just start mixing. When I mean I would do it loud, it was down the hallway where the band room and stuff was, where biology and stuff was, like there. So that's where I was mixing, and there was a lady right across from me, and I didn't think she could hear it because I have my headphones on. I'm not really paying attention on how loud it is or what.
Right.
I'm just going at it.
Slapping it, man.
Oh yeah, and I've never looked at his crate, so I never knew what song I was picking up. So I'm picking up random songs, and I'm giving myself like a time limit because I know back then how I would do it. I would give myself a time limit of like 45, maybe 50 seconds, but I'm still scratching with the same record. And then I would throw on another one and catch the beat of that one, and then mix it into that one so it will flow into that. And then I remember one time, tell me if you could do this, I mixed a Luther Vandross song with the Fat Boys. Somebody will look at me and be like, how the hell you mix a Luther Vandross? with the fat
It's
boys.
fucking so funny. That's so funny. I didn't hear it, dude. I'm still in shock that you were the founder of DJ Club. So you're technically a leading factor into me becoming a DJ.
Yeah, I just wanted to help. He's just straight up asked me. He was like, "Do you like music? You want to help me start this club?" I'm like, "Yeah, no doubt."
And you know what? I just found out the teacher's name, Mr. Nelson, right?
Yep, Mr. Nelson.
Yup.
Cool.
I got it.
You
Hell yeah,
cool
man.
guy.
Do you remember Jake Bilbar? Do you remember that kid by chance?
I need to see a face. I'm sure he knows me.
So basically, I think he said he was also one of the founding fathers of DJ Club too, so I kind of assumed that you guys knew each other. But he's a good friend of mine, and he's always talking about Mr. Nelson all the time.
Man, I know
Those are the days, man. I know people that'll literally use a laptop to DJ off like virtual DJ or something, and it's just, I don't know. It really depends, and it's because, like I was saying before, like you're putting on a performance for a crowd, obviously, when you're DJing electronic dance music, and like I said, technicality is so important, but it's about like just capturing a moment. You know what I mean? It's about like just transitions where people could take time to reflect and like think about like the melodies or the drum patterns within the songs. You know what I mean?
And I think DJs nowadays don't know that, and they'll just play. It'll be like fast song, fast song, fast song, medium song, fast song, fast song. I'm like, bro, you got to know when to slow it down. Where people want to take a fucking break. People don't want to do fast song where you're playing Ludacris, drop it low, and then you're going straight to friggin', I don't know, Busta Rhymes with his stuff, and then you coming back over trying to do Ty Dolla Signs. I'm like, first off, girls don't dance that long if you're trying to get the club popping. I'm like, no, don't do that.
Right.
Guys don't want to get rejected that many times for that many songs. First off, you gotta people forget to read the crowd. It's not about what you put together. You also still gotta read the crowd, and if the crowd
100%.
isn't feeling your stuff, you better have a backup plan for what you're doing.
100%. That's good that you mentioned that. So like with the whole electronic dance music thing, I'm specializing in a subgenre called bass music. So obviously like dubstep, hybrid trap, which is very similar to just trap, like rap music in general. But it's obviously there's a drop and it's a different type of vibe. And basically I'll do that. I'll also do, club performances, and like you just gotta know that like going into that type of atmosphere, like you gotta you just gotta know what crowd you're playing for. And I guess that was the sentence I was trying to come up with. Sorry, my brother's calling my name for a second. Yeah.
And if you don't know, you're gonna figure it out because the crowd will literally let you know in that moment of time.
And you're not gonna get hired again either, which is unfortunate.
I think people forget that. I'm like, the manager's listening too.
Oh yeah, easily. Everybody's got your eye. Like I said, like you're technically the one putting on the party or whatever type of. You're the one, providing the services. You know what I mean? People go out to clubs, for example, or festivals to dance and have a good time and socialize and all that stuff. And if you're not doing it the right way and you're not scoping out the crowd, then does that even make you a DJ? I mean, you could just go on an aux cord and just play stuff that you're into. It really depends.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But like with music production, for example, like I'm also a music producer. So I'm making things that I want to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not doing that, then I guess what's the point of producing my own music? So when it comes to making my own music and actually having live performances, if it's not a club environment, let's say just like a random show and I have a following, like people will come to listen to the music that I play, and I'd have to kind of cater. Yeah, it all depends. You know what I mean? Because
you may not like what you're playing to cater, but you're getting paid to cater, so you got to cater to the people.
Exactly.
It's not about you in that moment.
Exactly. Which is why, like, with the whole music production thing, like, I can actually have shows where people come out to see me and know what type of vibe they're gonna get. You know what I mean? Otherwise, why would people come out? You know?
Oh yeah.
Whereas like in a club environment, like people just go out to, you know, they don't really care who the DJ is. They just know there has to be a good DJ. You know?
Okay. Well, what would you say right here? What have you learned throughout going to the clubs, going to different festivals that moved you towards your goals to make you better towards your craft? And would you say college helped your craft even more for what you wanted to do?
So I guess in regards to obviously becoming a better DJ is definitely failing a bunch of times, because when you first start off, like obviously you go into that mindset, you know, you please the crowd, but it's not always the song selection either. A lot of it is like crowd interaction, knowing, like you said before, like knowing like which songs you're gonna transition to. Back in the day when I first started off and I had my first gig, I was fucking transitioning like a 150 BPM into like a 110 BPM without, you know, that seamless it just wouldn't make sense. There would be no dynamic within the set. And if you're missing a specific dynamic, like people aren't going to follow. People aren't going to understand what type of image or what type of story you're trying to tell. You know
that was my DJ at my sister's wedding. Lord have mercy. She was terrible. I don't know who she was or where my sister found her, but are you going to... I hate when people do this. Like, I've been to the club. It was one out in Palatine. I went to the club out there, and freaking he started playing... the Cupid Shuffle. I feel like every DJ gonna play one dancing song that everybody knows the dance moves to. He went from that to a country song. Like he just cut it off and went to a country song. I'm like, what the fuck did you just do?
That's crazy.
I was like, who the fuck are you trying to please? Right. First off, it's midnight right now, so you know this is the peak hour. What the fuck are you doing right now?
Exactly.
Everybody walked off. I swear, I saw that. That dance floor cleared so quick. I was like, damn, you done killed the whole vibe.
It just didn't work. It didn't transition correctly. But I guess another thing that's interesting is something that I've learned throughout the years is you got to give the crowd something. Let's say I'm playing EDM music, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to start off with house music and play house music so much to the point where I notice the crowd starts to, you know, seem disinterested, right? Mm-hmm. The second I notice they're disinterested, that's when you switch up the genre, right? That's when you might switch up the BPM or the style. Or so if I might go from like house to hip-hop, right? That's only because you notice that the crowd isn't really feeling the energy like they were previously, you know? So that's kind of like one of those cues where you got to read the crowd, and that's unbelievably important. That's something I've also learned throughout my years of DJing.
And I feel like a lot of them, I know some out here, the clubs out here. I know I went to Fat Tuesdays over on Mill in Tempe.
Oh yeah?
Freaking yeah.
You ever go to Old Town and shit?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I miss that, bro. I miss that so much.
I told your ass to let me know out here. I know you were out here one time and you had to go. You had to go straight back to Tucson. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I graduated in May. So whenever I fly back to Arizona, like I just gotta make sure I gotta go see my boys, like that I went to school with. I mean, because if I don't see them, it's just like, you know, these people from like California and New York, and just had to go see them, and it was kind of like a short time frame. But I really wish, you know, you and I linked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you sure. I don't mind hanging out with your friends. Shit, they'll like me too. Oh, fucking
yeah, man.
Sure.
Yeah, bro.
But the DJ I know there, he was looking down the entire time. Like not one time did I see this man look up. I was getting a drink. Not at all. Like he wasn't trying at all. And then I know when I went to Old Town, I went to whatever that popular club over there is. I don't forgot. But no, it was
Bottle Blonde.
No, it was.
They got a ton of them.
They do, but that DJ, they were doing too much like sound effects. Like they just kept doing all that shit.
The samplers and using the reverb and
yeah, and they would cut off songs like after 10 seconds just to talk. I'm like, shut the fuck up. That's not your job. Yeah, I'm like,
exactly.
I'm like, you're playing top songs. Everybody's getting into it. Like, literally, as soon as the song will come on, it'd be like Lil Jon. Let's say, Snap Your Fingers. 10, 15 seconds in the song, he'll cut it off just to talk. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Okay. See, that's, like I said, it's good to talk on the mic for sure, just to keep the crowd engaged. But if you do that repeatedly, I mean, there are a lot of DJs that, produce music, like, that I personally love more than anything. And when I see them live, like, they're killing it. Like, the energy's there. And then they'll just completely stop by just getting on the mic, and it'll just kill the energy of the room. You know what I mean? It'll kill the entire, experience you're going through for a little bit, and then turn you off,
I hate it. The way he was talking, I'm like, man, you might as well create your own podcast the way your ass is talking. You talk too damn much.
True that.
I'm
True
like,
that, man.
shit. I'm like, I'm trying to get lit. I'm trying to dance. I'm trying to have fun.
You're trying to have, and the thing is, like, a lot of the time when people are at clubs, like, they're into the music, right? They're dancing, they're having fun, and they're not really thinking about it, you know what I mean? So if you make an obvious transition, like a weird transition, for example, if you get on the mic, people are going to notice that right away. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I'm like, it's okay to jump on quickly for another transition, and I'll be like, okay, cool, because I don't think my girlfriend even knows this. When I'm at the club, I pay attention to the DJ a lot. Like, I'll be dancing, and I'm like, okay, how's he gonna bring this next song? Okay, what is he gonna do? I see the crowd dying down. What's he gonna do? And most of the time, they don't do shit. They just keep doing their set like the same way. I'm like, you're not even gonna try. I'm like, you already got your money, huh? They done already paid you. You like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it my way. If they're not feeling it, fuck them.
True. That, that's just my opinion, but definitely unprofessional. It makes the person who hired you kind of look bad. If you're gonna go in and be lazy about it, you shouldn't be there in the first place, because you should be passionate about what you're doing. You know what I mean? Even if it's a shitty crowd, you know what I mean? If you're not getting the turnout that you want to see, and everybody's been through that. Everybody, myself included, I've had numerous gigs where I come and there's maybe like 20 people there at most. It's been less than that. And as much as you kind of feel upset, you just got to come to the realization that, like, you're in this because you're passionate about DJing or producing music. Like, you don't care if there's a crowd or not. Like, I DJ in my room and I have the best time of my life. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm like, your imagination is stronger than you think.
Exactly. And attitude is everything. So, like, if you're going in and you're just saying, hey, this crowd isn't here for me, fuck that, like, I deserve a better crowd, then you're not doing it right, man. Because you got to work for that, first of all.
Exactly.
And second of all, like, people out there DJing for years and years, and they're making they've created a reputation for themselves where they're getting the hottest time spots. You know what I mean? They're getting those 12 to 2 slots at a club, or headlining festivals or shows, and that's awesome. But you got to realize that these people work their asses off to get there. You know what I mean? They're out there networking. They're out there building a brand for themselves, and that's, like, so important. It's just to build a brand for yourself. And a lot of DJs that I know, there will be people that will approach me and ask, why, like, how do you get gigs? How do you do this? How do you do this? Like, and I'll just say, like, it's been years and years of building a brand and networking with people. And it's been tiring too, because, I work a 9-to-5 job, and as a result of me moving back to Chicago, I kind of had to relocate and find new, promoters or people that'll book DJs, and that would require me having to stay out really late, and, obviously being late to work sometimes, just to, like, network with people. You're just hustling, you're busting your ass out there to build the best brand you can.
Because people don't know.
That was too long.
No, you're good. Because I'm trying to let the people know what reality is. I'm like, you think this podcast is gonna have 1,000 people listening to it right now? No, we're gonna be on, just like a YouTuber starting. You're not gonna have 500,000 people watch your video, your first very video that you've ever made. You're gonna have probably
100%,
20, 30 here, and you honestly, if I get 20 or 30 people to view or listen to my podcast, I think that's a win. I'm like, shit, that's way more than I thought.
Yeah,
like, you got to take those small wins.
Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, you're obviously passionate about, putting on a show. It's fun. Okay, the fact of the matter is it's fun. You know what I mean? If you're not having fun doing what you assume or say you're passionate about, then it's not, that's just work for you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
What's the point of even doing it?
Like, people need to have fun with everything they do. When I do this, I feel relaxed. I'm at home. Like, right now, I'm just kicking back in my second bedroom, chilling, still macking on Oreos.
I'm in bed right now, man. I love it. You got great energy, and that's very important, especially for a talk show host. Like, you've got the energy, and you've always had the energy, man. You're an extroverted individual. You love having conversations with people, and you make the best out of everything, and I respect that.
Because I want everybody to be great. I don't care if I don't like you. I don't care if we don't talk anymore. I don't care if I've never met you a day in my life. I want you to be great. Just like, I'll give you a prime example. This is a personal one for me. Like when 3 years ago, I'm pretty sure now it's been 3 years ago, when John just stopped talking to me. And then I had to find out when I called his mom on Thanksgiving to wish them a happy Thanksgiving. She told me that he stopped talking to me because of my ex. I'm like, well, why would he stop talking to me because of a girl? Like, what? I'm like, come on now. I don't know his side because he won't answer his damn phone. But I'm curious. Like, I'll have a conversation with the man. I don't hate him. Like, I would gladly still chill with him. I just want an explanation on why the fuck you don't answer my phone.
Right. You just want to have a conversation one-on-one to see what the issues is. And it definitely, me and John didn't particularly talk about, I guess, falling out between you two. It's not particularly my business, but I guess the reason it sounds so upsetting is the fact that, like, he didn't give you a chance to explain or even have a conversation about it,
Yeah, and I learned that on Thanksgiving. I still called this man on his birthday in January to wish him a happy birthday. He didn't answer, but just to wish him a happy birthday because we were friends for 3 years. I will always be at his house. Like, how often would you always see me at his house? Like,
dude, every fucking
like
second.
shit. Like, you couldn't hang out with John without my ass being right there. Like, where are we going?
That's true,
Like,
dude. We used to have the greatest times, me and John, man. Us three would literally just go to the mall and walk around for like hours, and it'd be the best time ever.
Exactly. And I'm just like, man, I didn't want that falling out. I get it. I had friends, so I had other responsibilities. You weren't my main focus. I couldn't hang out like I did all the time. But that's just like, let me know. Like, if you're feeling some type of way about it, just let me know.
Rather than just being ghosted. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Maybe I could talk to him if you want to shoot him a text. I'm sure you guys could work it out. You know what I mean? You guys are both great guys. But obviously it is what it is if you guys want to go your own ways. But hey, I mean, at least you're loving your life out in Arizona. You're doing your own thing, and shit, man, you're doing the best you can.
Exactly. I'm living my life like it's golden.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother.
And what would you say for your career? 5 years, 10 years. You done built your brand. You done got the 10,000 people to come see you. You done sold out football fields like Kevin Hart. What do you want to be known for after your career? Technically, you don't retire like DJ Jazzy Jeff. You technically don't retire. You just stop touring like normal people. But what would you want to have that legacy to be?
I guess the legacy I want to leave behind is I want people to know, like, shit just takes hard work, man. Regardless of what it is, regardless of when it is, if you want something, you gotta go after it. And you know what? I've had my ups, I've had my downs. When I first started DJing, like I said, I didn't really get the turnouts I wanted, but I was so passionate about it that I kept grinding, I kept pushing. I didn't really care. Obviously it kind of, simmers in the back of your head, but like I didn't care because I was so passionate about it. I wanted to just keep doing it, regardless if people shut up or not, or whatever the case may be. I just need people to know that, like, ambition is key for anything you want to pursue. Right now, I'm working a 9 to 5 with a mortgage company, and as much as I don't particularly love it. Obviously, I wanted to be DJing full time. DJing is kind of my side hustle right now. Hopefully, one day it'll be my full time thing. But regardless of how much I hate or love, whatever the case may be, like I'm always going to give it my all, and I want to just spread that message to everyone. You're going to fail so many times.
Yep, it's
Literally,
about how many times you're gonna get up.
More than succeed, in my opinion. But when you do succeed, it's like a high that you're constantly chasing. Once you get it once, you get a good turnout for a crowd. Like you want that over and over again, and you're willing to go over those humps every single time just to get where you want to be.
Oh yeah, you got to get up way more than you get knocked down. And it's like, okay, I learned this lesson. How am I gonna change that? Okay. This person said no to me. Okay, how am I going to make them say yes? Or how am I going to prove to them that no was the wrong decision?
Exactly.
Many artists has gotten told.
It's happened a few times. Back in the day when I first started out, I remember I'd be going on Instagram and networking with people. And, I didn't really have a following, so people would, I'd go up to promoters or people that I network, and I'd be like, hey, if you ever need a DJ, just let me know. And sometimes people would, kind of say oh yeah, dude, I'll hit you up. And obviously I don't get back to you. But as time progressed and I kind of really started to prove myself more as a DJ, people that rejected me initially would obviously come back and reach out, and it's kind of satisfying,
Oh yeah.
But you just got to be respectable at all times and be humble. Being humbled is also very important.
I know one thing, don't ever burn the bridge you're trying to build.
100%.
Because those people that saying no. Like I know personally, podcasting, I don't want to do it forever. Like I would rather make this my side hustle and start my own radio station.
Right.
Like that's what I want to get into. Granted, the FCC will be all on my ass because I curse like a son of a bitch. But I could deal with that. But I wanted my own radio station, have fun, bringing cool people, always bring in new businesses, talk about them, people telling their lives. That's how I want to run my business. That's why I tell everybody, bring it in.
I ask you, I don't mean to interrupt, but so is your target audience, or I guess the guests you're trying to bring in, is it all musical related or just anybody in general? Similarly to Joe Rogan, for example, who just brings in the craziest people, the most awesome people, just random people with random occupations and celebrities and all that good stuff.
I'm bringing in everybody. You could be a creative writer. You could do spoken word on the podcast. I don't care. I'm trying to get your brand out there just as hard as I'm trying to get mine out there.
100%, man. And I love that. You have social media platforms or anything?
Oh yeah, I got now. A lot of people. I done told you before on podcast on my first intro video. I do not believe in Instagram or Twitter. I do not have it, and I don't want it. Now, if I have to have it, I will get it. But right now, I don't really want it. And honestly,
listen, I have respect for that. I just, word of advice is if you really, obviously want to cultivate and create an awesome brand, definitely consider it. You could reach out, you could find people that are interested in what you're interested in, and people that'll appeal to the podcast a lot. Obviously you don't have to if you don't want to, but I think you should definitely consider it,
Oh, it's always in my back pocket. Maybe I should get on Instagram. Everybody's on Instagram. That's where you'll have.
Either or, do you, man. If you, it doesn't matter to me, I just want you to do the best you can, and I want you to be the happiest with where you're at,
Oh yeah, because I know a lot of people that are bro, Instagram came out when we were in high school, and I was like, eh. Yeah, a lot of people say, hit me up on Instagram. I'm like, I don't have an Instagram. I got Facebook. I don't have Facebook. I'm like, oh, well, looks like I'm not talking to you.
I feel you.
You know how long it took me to get a Snapchat? I didn't get Snapchat till 2015 or 16. It was out in 13.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't get none of that.
Shit, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, though. You don't necessarily, you're trying to stay away from the norm, and I respect that. It's not for everybody, and I think it's cool that you're not necessarily partaking in what everyone else is partaking in, you know?
But there's a limit to how bad do you want it. You could suck it up and just do it. I think about that.
Yeah, in the long run, if you think it'll help your brand, then definitely consider it, you know?
Like right now, I'm starting my Spotify. You're going to be the first one on my Spotify.
Hell yeah, man. That sounds awesome.
Well, you already know. I know a bunch of people got Spotify. I could name quadruple thousand people that use Spotify all day.
Everybody's got Spotify.
Like, man.
Or Apple Music, one of those.
Hey, man, so I'm going to put this up on there, upload it, start my account, go ahead and pay that $24.99 a month or whatever the hell it was. Bite the bullet, because this business, you got to spend money to make money. A lot of people don't get that. I'm like, in order to get that big check, you got to spend the money.
You got to spend
like,
it.
I know your equipment was not cheap.
That's also a great, that reminds me that, especially if you want to DJ, like, definitely, you got to invest. I wouldn't say a lot of money, but invest in, like, I guess a small, like, $100 little board or something, just anything to start getting technical and learning the ways, the in and outs of it. And yeah, it's just a great idea to begin with, All
day, every day. Before we head off, I got two questions, actually. What was your favorite song in middle school?
My favorite song in middle school?
Yeah.
Oh, good question, man. Definitely Lose Yourself by Eminem. That's probably my favorite song of all time, but I heard it in middle school. I think it was, sixth grade maybe? Yeah, sixth grade. I heard about 8 Mile. I knew a few Eminem songs, and when I watched 8 Mile, obviously, they threw in Lose Yourself in the last scene of the movie, and oh my God, man, that's my anthem. That's literally my favorite song of all time. So definitely that one.
And what scares you the most about DJing?
What scares me the most about DJing is, I guess, creating a brand and putting so much time into it, and I guess just letting people down when, I'm doing everything in my power to make things right. And obviously, I'm going to always give it my all, but, you can't always satisfy everyone, you know what I mean? So I guess, letting a huge amount of people down when, I don't know if it's realistic or not, but it's a scary thought, you know what I mean?
100%. Because you try to satisfy everybody, at least 98% of the people. But realistically, you're probably only going to get like 60. Maybe you might float around 70. But anything you do, you're not going to satisfy everybody because somebody's going to find one thing to be wrong with it.
And I think that's what's scary to a lot of artists, generally speaking, because they're obviously making something they're passionate about, and like, yes, people are going to say like, oh, I don't really care if, people stop liking me for doing this genre. Like, it's going to always kind of hit them in the back of their head, you know what I mean? People are going to say shit. And I do think you should definitely be versatile and experiment with different things at all times. But I guess that thought of just saying like, oh, well, this person didn't like it or these people didn't like it, it's a little upsetting, It's something you can't control.
Oh, yeah, I know. You don't always get thumbs up on your mixes. Somebody's always going to be like, nope. Somebody can comment and be like, what you should have done is, I'm like, don't tell me what I should have done. This is what I was feeling. This is what I do. This is my genre.
Exactly.
I'm sharing me with you.
Everybody. It might not fit with everybody, and that's just the reality of it,
Just
I feel that way about mumble rap.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure people back in the day felt that way about old school when rap first came.
Oh, yeah. Sure. They started riots over it. They were like, this is not going to be acceptable.
Eminem, all that shit, man. That's just how it used to go.
And they took it on the chin and said, well, it's not for you, is it? It's for the younger generation.
Exactly. 100%, man.
Well, I'll let you go now. Shoot, we've been talking for an hour, 5 minutes without the other two cutoffs.
Shit, man. It's been a minute. I didn't even notice it either. I was like, oh, damn, we're done. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me. So I really, really appreciate it. I think it's awesome that you're trying to, give people a platform to kind of express themselves and, promote their music. And I think it's definitely, you're off to an awesome start. And I think you should continue what you're doing. You know what I mean? Just keep grinding, bro.
Oh, yeah, I want everybody to feel uplifted. I want everybody to have a chance at life. At least I'll give you that first step, if anything. If you don't like the first step, all right, c'est la vie. It wasn't for you. That's what it is. You tried it. It's not for you. Just move on to the next one. But I at least want to give you your shot to be on here, to be known, to be exposed. Like, I just want to be that man that you can say in your mind. I don't need you to say it out loud. I don't need you to tell everybody about me, because my name will be sung. I don't need nobody. I don't need to tell, hey, Ari, make sure you tell all your friends to follow me. No. I never asked anybody to do that. All I ask is for you to make it and you to take your craft seriously and be the best you can at it.
I appreciate that so much. And I'm saying the same thing to you, man. Whatever you're passionate about, I think you'd be good at anything. Obviously, you're a fucking amazing talk show host. And the way you carry conversations is, you do it in a very smooth way, you know what I mean? It feels more like a conversation rather than like an interview or whatever the case may be. And I think you definitely have that natural talent. And like I said earlier, like, you've always been like pretty extroverted. So you kind of have those traits,
Oh, yeah, you always got to be a straight talker. I tell on this podcast, this is a real conversation. I'm not going to interview your ass like, okay, what steps do you take to becoming great? Okay, that was nice. And try to follow up with a question A or B and then come back to another question. Like, no, that's not a real conversation. This ain't NBC.
Exactly. You're completely right, man.
Yeah, I try to keep it real and raw as good as I can, except this sex, except this girl. Don't tell her that I go raw. Shh.
Hell yeah, bro. All right. Is there anything else you want to go over?
No, we is straight. We is good. Make sure you tell the people one more time where they can find your mixes at.
Go on SoundCloud at AireLoosh, AireLoosh, or follow me on Instagram at AireLoosh. Same thing.
All right. I'll be sure to grab the names from you so I could put it down, copy it, and put it in the link so people can click on it. I'll go ahead and put you on my social media at No Beelines on Facebook and on Snapchat. Same thing, different air freshener all day, every day. And if you want your stuff to be hitted out, if you want to be heard and interviewed just like you heard my friend Ari and just like my cousin Jaleel, anything and everything's on the table, including on the table, but that's besides the point. I don't care who you are, what you do, where you came from, or what you're about. If you want to be known, get your brand out there and be great at what you do, come hit me up. I will not say no unless you're an asshole. And then maybe even then I'll have you on the show so we can fight about it. But remember, no beelines, no borders.
That are artists too. I could definitely shoot them a text and ask if they're interested in hopping on, if you'd be interested in having them as guests.
Oh, you already know. You can give out my number if you want to. Shoot, Facebook, I don't care. Messenger, Snapchat, shit, anything.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, it was great talking to you. I'm gonna close this down. Let the people relax their mind and sit back.
Perfect. Alrighty, bro. You take care, and whoever's watching out there, have a good rest of your night, and stay safe during the quarantine, guys. Be sure to wash your hands.
Please wash your hands, because we going to be dabbing it up all day, every day. But I know half of y'all ain't got antibacterial soap in y'all house. Shit, y'all need to question that. All right, man.
All right, bro. You have a good one, all right?
You too.
All right, take care, guys.
And that's that, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the show. I know it was kind of long, but you know how it be sometimes when you're having a good conversation, when you're actually enjoying what you do, as we said before. You don't care how long it takes. You don't care what bumps may come. You don't care what may go on the entire time. As long as you're enjoying yourself, having fun, and being great at your craft every day, trying to get there, you will do it. It's the little accomplishments that make the biggest difference. Because if you don't get those little accomplishments, just like I said, I don't care if it's 20 or 30 people listening right now. You get that 20, that's an accomplishment. You reach up to 30, that's an even bigger accomplishment. but never get too big of a head. Because once you get a big head of, 20 isn't a lot. I wanted 1,000. You're not being realistic to yourself, and you're not being honest. You always got to be honest and realistic with yourself. I do this for the love of it. I started this because I wanted to get people out there. I wanted people to be great with me. If you want to jump on this train, the no BS crew, hit me up. No B-lines. And what does no B-lines mean? No borderlines. Everything and all things will be talked about on here. And always remember, love, peace, and hair grease. I'll see you next time.